Next, we'll be talking about extending the dream when REM hasn't actually naturally ended yet. So basically, you're waking up out of the dream because you're getting like too much mental involvement into it, or you're getting too much stimulus. So that's causing you to wake up. You're not waking up because the natural 90-minute-ish sleep cycle is ending. And this is a very common issue you're going to run into in your lucid dreaming practice. I would say that this is probably like the number one way most lucid dreams end, right? If it's not this way, then it ends because you just get wrapped up in the dream, forgetting you're lucid, and then the dream continues, but your lucidity is lost. So if it's not that one, it's going to be this one, right? You're waking up because you're getting too mentally involved in the process. This is a super common topic touched upon in basically like every lucid dreaming book out there. It might be called something like Restabilizing a Dream or something like that. So the 4 techniques I'm going to cover here, 2 of them are really common. You'll definitely find these in a lot of the books out there. Then the other 2 are basically just ones I found that work for me best. So the first one I'll cover is like spinning in place. Now this does work to restabilize the dream pretty often, but it also has a tendency to change the dream scene you're in. So sometimes people will use spinning in place to not re-solidify the dream and push out REM, but they'll do it to, completely change the scenery around them and hopefully end up in some new dream space. Almost like, say, teleporting through a mirror or something can work as well. The other way that's covered a lot within lucid dreaming books and one I've had mild success with, I really only ever crossed my mind to do this when I'm like specifically trying to test it out. So it's only been probably a few times. So I'll just normally default to, the next 2 techniques I'll cover here. But one they'll say that you can do is you can like rub your hands together, or basically like you're trying to build like the tactile sensation of the dream. So that can work as a way to, re-solidify and stabilize the dream and push it out a bit longer. But the main 2 techniques I use is going to be something that I just kind of made up and started calling the active staring technique. And then the other one is going to be like this mantra thing mixed with like a kind of tactile sensation, kind of like the rubbing of your hands. So when it comes to this active staring thing, I used to just always refer to it as like staring at an object or staring at one portion of the dream and re-solidifying it that way. The problem there is that can actually lead to the dream breaking down and ending if you do it just real like plainly just look at it and that's all you're doing. So the reason why I call it active staring is I'm doing more of like it's kind of like one of these things. If you guys have ever seen these magic eye books from like the 90s, where you almost want to like blur out your vision and then bring it into focus. So it's a very short process that, when I'm doing it, once it comes into focus and everything looks clear again, I'm done. I don't stay there and keep working with it. Then it's just, okay, the dream is stable again. Go carry off doing whatever you want. Another way I kind of like to describe this is, if you're looking at a wall, or say if you're looking at tree bark or something, right, with a lot of randomness in it, you can kind of get to these moments where you space out a little bit. Then all of a sudden you're looking at this, this randomness, and then like a face or something will pop out in it. So that's another way that seems kind of similar to this active staring technique the technique I'm talking about. A nice little waking exercise you can do here, though, is you can actually learn to start looking for the faces in the randomness on purpose, right? So you can kind of just look at a wall or a tree bark or something like that, kind of just zone out, blur your eyes out, and focus on it, kind of like just a simple open eye meditation. And then wait to see if you happen to see or pick out a pattern in the randomness, and then try to hold that perspective. So that's a cool little thing you can try. But another one, and this one I actually find works for me the best, although naturally just within the dreams, because it's been my approach for so long, I tend to default to the active staring thing. But this other one works really good and works better in my opinion. So this is going to be just combining a simple mantra with something you're doing in the dream that's tactile. So what I like to do is I'll just look at the floor, right? And I'll start saying, so my feet on the floor and everything, right? And I'll start saying this mantra in my head as I walk, like, this is my floor. This is my floor as I'm walking through the dream space. And that to me works really well at keeping the dream solid and pushing it out a bit longer if you're feeling it starting to end. Another little cool thing about using that type of mantra is you can use it, and of course it's very malleable. You can say whatever you want as long as it's in tune with whatever, type of action you're doing within the dream. But it can also be used to, like, if you're going to be like walking up walls or want to walk on the ceiling like Spider-Man or something like that. I found for myself that using that exact mantra right there, like, this is my floor, as you start walking up walls or walking on ceilings, works really well for that too. So that's just a nice little bonus.